Good evening, everybody. Thanks for those of you that are here with us. I'm going to introduce myself in a little bit, but I just wanted to first do acknowledge that we're talking to you today from the traditional territory of the Fort William First Nation, signatories to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850, and that's where our Lakehead Thunder Bay campus is located. The Lakehead Aurelia campus is located on the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, including the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi nations, collectively known as the Three Fires Confederacy. Lakehead acknowledges the history that many nations hold in areas around our campuses and is committed to a relationship with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people based on principles of mutual trust, respect, reciprocity, and collaboration in the spirit of reconciliation. I think you'll see tonight too, and if you join us in the School of Outdoor Recreation, Parks, and Tourism, which is what we're here to talk about, that we try to uphold a lot of the things that I just said in this land acknowledgement. We often say these things now, we don't always demonstrate or act on them, and I think that this is something that we do, but we'll talk more about that. My name is Dr. Lee Potvin. I'm an associate professor, and I am the director of the School of Outdoor Recreation, Parks, and Tourism. Something interesting about me that if you really knew me, you would know is that I really love chickens. Raising them, particularly the kind that lay eggs.
I'm not sure how to follow that. Just saying. Lee is really a wonderful person to work with. She's a really wonderful person to learn from. And I'm sure that you'll understand her chicken comment as you get to know her through this seminar, as well as when you join our program. So yeah, I'll take a moment to introduce myself. I'm not sure I have anything as interesting to share alongside with chickens. But my name is Julie Rosenthal. I'm one of the professors in the program, and I am assistant director of the program. And I actually did own chickens for quite some time as well. So we have that chicken connection here.
So hi, I'm Chloe. I'm a fourth year student in the Outdoor Rec Parks and Tourism program, as well as I'm doing a minor in psychology. I love being part of the program and being involved in the rec community, and some of my favorite outdoor activities are anything kind of water related in the sense of paddling.
I'm going to share a little bit about Lakehead University just before we get started specifically to looking at our program in particular. So a few things that are really exciting to share about Lakehead University is that we are the top ranked university in North America with fewer than 1,000 or 10,000 students. And that ranking comes from the Times Higher Education Impact Rankings for social impact. So we do have a lot of societal impact and emphasis on sustainability and social justice in our own program, as well as a lot of the programs offered at Lakehead University. Maclean's ranked us #1 in Ontario of the primarily undergraduate universities, and 5th in Canada according to their rankings of this year. We have a really high record of employment rates for students graduating from Lakehead University within 2 years of graduation. Over 97% of students are employed. And we've also been ranked as a top 3 research institution by Research InfoSource. So our research record is really quite to be proud of. A couple other things that might be of interest to you as prospective students is that our class sizes tend to be on the small side. So 82% of our classes are capped at 50 students, so have 50 students or fewer, and that's certainly the case in our program. And we do have over $11 million worth of scholarships and bursaries offered to students at Lakehead University. So it's a really wonderful place to work.
School of Outdoor Rec, Parks, and Tourism is a really wonderful program to be a part of. We're the only program of its kind in Canada, and we've been around for over 40 years. So we're not new to the game, and we've been doing what we've been doing with a lot of expertise for a long time and responding to also the changes in our society and trying to stay relevant and current to both industry and what is important in terms of academic knowledge. And skill development with commitments to equity, diversity, inclusion, and reconciliation with Indigenous people and with the land. So we are an experiential program. And what that means to us is that students learn in a hands-on way, whether it's in a classroom or outside, whether it's overnight or for a few hours, and that you get to be an active participant and leader in your learning. So you don't come to class, sit down, listen, and have someone talk at you for an hour and a half. You get to come to class, you get to learn with your classmates. Your professors will often act more like facilitators to help guide your learning. And really, we want to know you. We want to hear about the things you're interested in. And we want to help you realize your goals as a student. And you really get to individualize a lot of your assignments to the things that you're passionate about and have the support of the faculty, staff, and your classmates to sort of realize those goals and dreams. So we think that we offer first class, high level social sciences degree where you can really think critically about the world around you, but do so in a way that is actually engaging with the community and not living in sort of a bubble within our campus here in Thunder Bay.
So we thought we would share a video of what it's like in our program that one of our students who was in second year at the time had produced for you.
Most about living in Thunder Bay is the amount of outdoor opportunities that we have. No matter where you turn, you have an opportunity to be outside and explore.
Someone told me that you should find something you love and then learn how to get paid for it. So this was the perfect opportunity to find that.
So I was going to take an opportunity right now to share with you a few of the program options that you can select from if you want to study outdoor recreation, parks, and tourism with us. So our primary degree is an honors Bachelor of Outdoor Recreation. And with that, that gives a lot of flexibility in terms of electives, and you can choose to take different courses outside of our program to complement your studies in outdoor recreation, parks, and tourism. You can also choose to pair that degree with a second degree. That doesn't mean you have to take any additional classes, and it doesn't take any longer, except when we talk about the education program, which I'll mention in a moment. So you can pair the outdoor recreation degree with a Bachelor of Arts in geography or history or gender and women's studies, and you would walk out with 2 degrees in the 4-year period. You can also pair it with a Bachelor of Science with a focus on natural science, which is mainly biology, but you can also take geology, geography, environmental studies courses as well. And a very popular option is also to take the Honors Bachelor of Outdoor Recreation concurrently with your education degree. That one's a 6-year program, so you have the 4 years in the HBOR program, as well as 2 years afterwards to get your teaching certificate. An advantage of that is that you're getting exposure to your education courses and opportunities to practice with your education placements along the way before committing to the final years of your education degree. And that gives you, I would say, an advantage over other students who may not have had that exposure to education, who are choosing to do their education degree after or sequentially after their primary degree in undergraduate. So those are our popular options. Chloe's going to mention another concentration that we have within our program.
Yeah, so we offer a 4-year concentration in nature-based therapeutic recreation. So many people recognize the outdoors as a place to find healing and wellness, and students interested in working in this field of therapeutic recreation have the option to take, would be the same kind of base courses as the outdoor rec degree, as well as some additional ones included on the slide here. So specialize in inclusive therapeutic rec, adventure therapy, and standards and practice of therapeutic rec, alongside some psychology courses and an anatomy course, so that students have an in-depth understanding of how to promote psychological and physical well-being in the outdoors.
So we'll talk about the location of our program. So we're based in Thunder Bay, Ontario, just north of Lake Superior. And I think what's really wonderful about where we live is that the area surrounding Thunder Bay is just full of recreation opportunities. The landscape here is like it's on the slide, it says unbeatable, but it genuinely is so rich with opportunities to learn the skills required in outdoor leadership, to explore relations with the landscape, to understand its cultural history and its significance. We have lakes, we have rivers, we've got cliffs, we've got incredible opportunities for hiking, sailing, etc. Chloe actually put together a nice collage of some of the most wonderful places that there are that we have an opportunity to teach in. So this landscape not only is our home and our area of living when we are studying in this place, but it's also so much of an opportunity to learn from the landscape. And we really cherish being located in this area.
Yeah, so on here we have Dashua Lake, which is where the photo of the canoeing is from, and that's a place that first year students visit typically within their first month of being in Thunder Bay for a canoe trip. The picture with the fall colors and the hiking at the bottom there, that's James Duncan Trail, which is located less than an hour from Thunder Bay. That is also a popular place that students go to practice some hiking. And then the top photo at the beach is at Nays Provincial Park, so it's a little farther from Thunder Bay, about 2.5 hours. But second year students in the parks course get to go and visit Nays Provincial Park to put what they're learning in the classroom and see it in the field at how parks function and how parks are managed. And then our ice climbing photo, which just highlights some of the climbing opportunities in Thunder Bay in the area. It's a very popular place for both rock climbing and ice climbing. And students have the opportunity to participate in those activities as part of their electives in a few different classes.
Mm-hmm. And some additional options too is that we on campus we have a reservoir and a river running right through campus. We've got forested areas with trails right on campus. So we're really fortunate to have a lot of nature within the city of Thunder Bay, as well as these wonderful areas within very short driving distance in which that we can explore and connect. We're going to highlight a few of our courses. We're going to begin with a little bit more detail about our first year courses, because those are probably the ones that you're most interested in knowing about straight off. And Chloe will highlight a few of the aspects of the second, third, and fourth year. We would love to talk at length about every course, but that would take much longer than we have time available for. So we'll just highlight the first year courses in detail, and then we'll maybe in the question and answer period, there may be opportunities to discuss more of the details of additional courses as your questions may lead us to discuss. So we'll start with land relations. I should explain that every year in a program, a standard course load would involve 5 courses in the fall term and 5 courses in the winter term. With your major in outdoor recreation, parks, and tourism, 2 of your courses in first year would be in the fall, and another 2 in the winter would be with outdoor recreation, parks, and tourism. You would then also fulfill the other course slots with some of your required courses. Perhaps if you're taking a double degree, they may be some geography courses or history courses, some gender and women's studies courses, maybe some biology courses. or an education course, as well as sort of you would make sure that you would fulfill one of the English course requirements that will help you with your writing and your communication skills. We're just going to highlight the 2 courses you would have in each semester with us, and then Chloe will highlight some highlights from other years.
One of the courses that you will take in the fall term of your first year is called Land Relations. And in the Land Relations course, as the name implies, you're going to learn all about the land and the landscapes around Thunder Bay and Fort William First Nation. And so this course for us is a really important way to ground everybody in the land, the relationship to land, culture, Indigenous people, the original people of this place, and to learn about the ways in which you can sort of move about this landscape and many of the significant areas, activities, and opportunities. Because for those of you who are interested in the program who are not from this area, it is quite a different landscape than you might be accustomed to. And we want to show you all of these wonderful things right at the start of your time here. And we also want to ground your degree in these really important teachings from elders and knowledge holders from the local Indigenous community. So in this course, students have the opportunity to go to an Mkiwaju, and it's a sort of a flat topped mountain at the south end of the city of Thunder Bay, but on Fort William First Nation. And students go and they meet with a knowledge holder, the keeper of the mountain, and she will teach the students all about the cultural significance and the cultural history of an Mkiwaju. So that's an example of something that students will do in land relations. And the opportunities to go and see local conservation areas. Students often go out on a birding excursion, and this is a really rich part of people's fall term experience.
Chloe will introduce Outdoor Skills and Theory 1 for us.
So this is another course that is taking in the fall semester, and it's a course that really recognizes that everyone coming into the program is coming in with a different level of outdoor skills and experiences. And the goal of this course is to kind of bring everyone to the same level by ensuring that everyone's learning their basic outdoor skills. This is done through a mixture of lectures to learn the theories and field components to learn and practice the skills that are learned in the classroom. So during this course, you'll learn knot tying skills, camp setup, how to properly dress and layer for the outdoors, pack for trips, start fires and stoves for cooking, so that you can be successful while out in the field, and you'll get an opportunity to practice what you learn by going on a 3-day canoe trip. If you remember the photo from a few slides ago, that's what that trip was from, as well as participate in a variety of electives that could include hiking, rock climbing, whitewater canoeing, depending on what's offered in the year. And at the end of the course, a big highlight is a cookathon. So it's where students prepare different camp meals and share them with the group. And it's made like a little fun competition, meal sharing, community building wrap up to the course. These 2 courses that happen in the fall, so Land Relations and OSAT 1, are a great way to start off your first year because you're working a lot in small groups and building connections between your classmates, especially if you're coming from areas that aren't Thunder Bay and maybe it's people you don't know yet. So it's a great time to really build those connections with your classmates that you'll have for the rest of your time at Lakehead. And another big highlight to part of this course is that upper year students in advanced leadership, which is a 4th year credit, often help out with a lot of the field days or activities that are happening so that you can larger build your rec community and meet some of the upper year students who might be able to provide advice or textbooks or information about what you're going to experience in the next few years of your rec degree.
So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a course that I'm teaching this winter called Foundations of Outdoor Recreation. And so this is a winter course, so in your second term of your degree. And this course really sets you up Julia and I think that this hierarchy of needs is very funny. Uh, you may too, or maybe not. But foundations really sets you up for the rest of the program from that theory perspective. And also, there's some practical and experiential components, of course, in this course. So, we really are looking at all of the key areas within outdoor rec parks and tourism. We are looking at protected areas, critical issues in outdoor rec, key theories that are informing outdoor recreation and tourism and nature-based tourism. And we really want you to understand all of these things as they relate to leisure, but also as they relate to your potential future career and also your future as a student. So we do spend some time in this course looking at academic skills, doing a library tutorial so you know all about how to use the library and understanding how to do APA, citation styles, and those sort of study skills and academic skills that you're going to need to be successful in our program. So there's a lot in this course. It's also a lot of fun. And we also have each full-time faculty member come into the course and do a guest lecture on something that they're researching and or really passionate about. And that way you get exposure to all of the full-time professors in the program in your first year. Because you're taking only 4 courses with us, you're not necessarily going to be taught by every full-time faculty member in your first year. So we want you to know what people are working on, what they're interested in, their teaching style, and sort of get that exposure while you're in your first year. And then at the end of this class, I'm also going to set folks up, hopefully you as well, when your time comes, for what second year will look like. And so you can be prepared for what second year will bring in terms of courses and opportunities.
The other course that you would take in the winter semester is called Group Dynamics and Leadership. And if you think about most of the careers that you could possibly imagine that involve working with people in the outdoors, involve some form of group work. And we really want to make sure that people are successful in their groups and demonstrate really strong leadership qualities. And so this course is all about that, looking at, what makes a strong leader? What makes you in particular a strong leader? How do you complement your leadership strengths when you might be co-leading with someone else who has different strengths? How might you arrive at sort of conflict resolution, maybe between you and your co-instructor, or maybe amongst the group? So how do you address conflict? How do you take conflict and turn that into something really positive for a group? So group dynamics and leadership is seen as a really useful course in that, we're always working with groups and always practicing some form of leadership. And leadership isn't always that like really vocal kind of way of being the one seen as leading the group. Sometimes leadership involves followership and setting example just by doing the things you do. So this course is one that's quite practical and is seen as one of the courses that helps you develop your interpersonal skills, which is so helpful in terms of the transferability of these skills. Like that kind of stuff is sought by employers all across the board of potential careers. It is particularly important in the outdoor field as well as in parks and tourism. So this course is one that a lot of students find value in. I mean, they all are quite valuable. This is one that students tend to reflect back on and say, oh yeah, I remember seeing that in group dynamics and leadership. We could go on and on about our courses, but we'll have Chloe give a few highlights of some of the subsequent years in the program.
Yeah, so second year highlights, a big course that students remember in their second year is Outdoor Skills in Theory 2. So this is taken in the winter semester and builds off the skills learned in OSAT 1 to provide the ability for you to be successful outdoors in all seasons. So some highlights of this include learning how to start a fire with flint and steel, ice climbing, ice river safety, telemark skiing, dog sledding, sometimes ice fishing is an option. And then a big component of this course is a winter camping trip where you build a Quinzhee to sleep in. So a Quinzhee is a snow shelter, kind of like the picture in the slide here. The insulation of the snow provides a warm place for you to stay at night while camping in the winter. And then some third and fourth year highlights. So there's lots of different electives that can be taken in the third and fourth year. And a nice thing about the outdoor rec program is you have a lot of choice in those electives. So you can choose kind of the ones that fit your needs and fit what you want to learn about most. But I'm going to highlight some of the field-based courses. In the photos here are pictures from the field exploration courses, and what that is students plan and prepare a extended expedition, typically ranging between 10 and 14 days. And the opportunities vary from sailing, canoeing, sea kayaking, dog sledding, depending on the year and what's offered. And what happens is you get a credit for planning the trip, so working with the group, which again is really important that you have your group dynamic skills, because you're spending the semester planning your route, your meal plan, your safety plan, any risk management, group dynamic goals for the expedition, and then you get a credit for then actually going on the expedition and putting that plan into practice. And a big highlight of some of these opportunities is the ability to gain certifications such as whitewater rescue or whitewater paddling while being on the expedition to improve your professional development while in the program. So this is one of the big highlight courses in third and fourth year.
Another highlight for a lot of students is going on exchange. It is an option for students to apply to go to an exchange, and there is funding to support students to do so. So Lakehead at minimum offers $1,000 to help students offset the costs of going to study abroad for a semester. The way it works is you pay your regular tuition at Lakehead. So if you go to a more expensive place like Norway, for example, you're not having to pay more, different tuition fees than you would expect here. So you pay your regular tuition fees at Lakehead, and you get to spend this one semester studying in one of the partner institutions. So very popular options for us is doing an exchange in Norway. And there's actually a couple of universities in Norway that students can choose from. And this photograph is from Norway, where Martina went a couple years ago. We also have partnerships with an institution in Wales, and there's also some options in the United States that we've had students go to. There are more countries in this and more institutions. These are the more popular ones that our students have been drawn to. And for those scholarships, depending on where you go, currently there's a funding program called North to North. So if you're choosing to go to an institution that's part of that consortium, usually there's circumpolar kinds of institutions, then students are eligible for as much as $5,000 to support their travel to go study abroad. So really an incredible opportunity, and there's a lot of interest in doing that. Typically this happens in students' third year, the first semester of their third year, although we can be a little bit flexible about that. But we would definitely encourage you, and with your academic advisors within our program, we can help you make sure that you've planned your courses so that you're not missing anything crucial by being away for that term. And that actually fits well within your progression to complete your program requirements on time.
So something that's important to acknowledge and recognize with the Outdoor Rec and Parks and Tourism degree is that we're not outside for everything. It is a big highlight of our learning and that we get to use the outdoors as a place to learn. But we also have lots of times spent indoors and in the classroom to learn the theories that go along with what we're taking outside with us. In the classroom learning, still experiential learning and practices are a huge part of what we do. And even though we do have to learn theories and through lectures, they're still very interactive and hands-on within the classroom, made to be engaging so that you're still learning in a fun environment. It just might not be outside all the time. And a lot of this looks like discussions or activities to introduce different topics and ideas that will be learned about during lectures.
Thanks, Chloe. I just want to add on that often in my role as the director, I'm the one that people come to with their plans for activities and field trips, and I get to see all the safety plans. And I would say that on average, our classes have somewhere between 2 and 4 like outdoor experiences, those sort of more classroom oriented ones, whether it's a day field trip or just taking the class outside to teach the content. So yeah, we've really blended that indoor outdoor learning environment quite a lot. But I'm supposed to be talking to you about equipment, so I'll stay on task. So a lot of times people will say like, "Oh, the gear. What kind of gear do I need to bring with you?" And the answer is like quite basic. Many of you may already have all of these things. Some of you might have some of it, and maybe some of you have none of it, and that's okay too. What we encourage you to come with, if you can, are some good shades. Come with some sunglasses because things get bright out there and you want to protect your eyes. A good whistle, a safety whistle, some kind of rain gear, pants and a jacket, and a compass or a standard compass. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Hiking boots, something sturdy that you can walk in, like you saw that photo of the James Duncan Trail. That is a current lab or field trip in the first year course. And so you want to be able to make sure that you can navigate, sort of steep-ish hiking terrain, and a day pack. And we consider a day pack to be something like a, 20-liter school backpack. It doesn't have to be a super fancy expedition pack, just so you can keep the basics that you need in there. You'll get a letter from me when you accept your offer. I'll send you a letter next spring that highlights these things again. But also want you to know that if these are things that you don't have or aren't able to get before you come, we do have a lot of these things available for students as extras at our equipment depot. We don't have like a class set of hiking boots or anything, but we do have extra rain gear. We have extra parkas, extra warm boots, those kinds of things. And we can also give you insights into the things that we recommend, because there are some things that are worth spending a little bit more on, and other things where the sort of entry level is going to work just fine. So you can always reach out with those questions. Anything else that you need for our courses, whether it's cross-country skis, snowshoes, ice climbing equipment, like some of that stuff you see here, canoes, kayaks, everything else we have in our equipment depot. So you use them as part of your course for free at no cost. If you want to use them on your own time, you can rent them for a very low cost. So let's say you wanted to go on a canoe trip outside of class and you didn't have a canoe, you can always rent ours and take it out for the weekend, as long as we're not using it for a class. So I'm pretty sure the next slide is a video about the equipment depot that one of our students made, just to give you a sense.
Hi, my name is Colleen Hutchison. I'm a fourth-year student in the ORPT program. I work at the Equipment Depot. The Equipment Depot is a gear lab for students to rent gear ranging from water-based sports to winter activities. In various ORPT classes, you can borrow gear from the depot to help aid you in outdoor adventures or trips. That can range from sleeping pads to tents to cooking equipment to snowshoes. We have everything that you need.
So the Outdoor Rec Student Society is a group of 8 students who are elected each year by the student body, kind of like a student council for the Outdoor Rec program. And we work to create opportunities for students both socially, academically, and professionally, as well as provide inclusive and accessible opportunities within the rec program and rec endeavors. So some of the roles of our team, we have myself, the president, our VP of finance, who handles all our finance and money and bank accounts, our development fund coordinator. So this is an opportunity for students to apply for funds if they need for trips or equipment or their professional development, that we can provide up to 50% of funding to help with whatever it's needed for. And all we ask is some sort of return for the student body, whether that be a workshop about what the money was used for, or a write up or photos about your learning or about what you're using the funds for to help create a more accessible space in the field. We also have a JEDI officer, so they're in charge of justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion in any of the events or opportunities that we're running, as well as a good person to reach out to. That person will take the appropriate steps to address any concerns. We have a course coordinator who's responsible for planning courses for our students. A lot of times it includes first aid courses, whether that be standard first aid or wilderness advanced first aid or wilderness first responder courses, as well as sometimes aquatic related courses such as bronze swimming courses or lifeguarding courses or ice rescue, depending on the year. So, a great opportunity to build your professional development and resume for future jobs. We have an info coordinator who's responsible for our social media, and they create monthly newsletters to keep you in the loop of what's happening in the rec community, as well as they are responsible for publishing our quarterly magazine that highlights student work or articles or anything students want to share with the student body. As well as we have a social coordinator who is responsible for creating social opportunities for students to build community with each other, whether that be through Frosh, our big welcome event, or our Rec Sibling program, which matches first year students with upper year students. So if you're entering the program, you have an older student who can provide you with textbooks or information about the area, maybe bring you around Thunder Bay to see the area, and just have a person you can reach out to and have a connection with higher up in the program and maybe introduce you to other rec students. And we also have a professional development coordinator who works to highlight jobs that are related to the field, as well as organize a career fair so that you can come and see the jobs that maybe for summer or for once you graduate that are available to you. So yeah, we work together to make all these amazing opportunities accessible to students. Continuing with sense of belonging and community. So it's a big highlight in the program, whether that be through ORSIS, through faculty, through alumni. There's just a lot of community building within outdoor rec, as well as building community connections within Thunder Bay. We do a lot of work with different organizations in the area to build a strong community connections within Thunder Bay. So you get to learn more about that, about what's in the area as well. And a big part of the department is working to make everyone feel included. And with the small class sizes and profs knowing your names within the first week or two, it really becomes like a warm and cozy space to have your academic career through.
Mm-hmm. I'll just add a little bit of perspective in terms of length of time too. I was I am a graduate of the program, but I was in the program decades ago, and I want to add that sense of community stays with you. Students who are graduates of our programs will always identify as a wrecker, and they'll say so with pride. The people that you meet in your first weeks of school are people that you're going to connect with and stay connected to for decades. You'll see each other get married. You'll see, some have children. You'll see each other through your career connections with one another. And I think it's a really wonderful part of being part of this community from so many aspects, as being a student, a current student, being connected to the field and broader community of outdoor recreation, parks and tourism, and then maintaining those connections for years to come. One of the questions that we get most is, what can you do with an outdoor recreation degree? And the answer is definitely a lot. And I think there's more to the opportunities in our program than meets the eyes initially. So A lot of people come to our program because they have an interest in working in the outdoors, but they're not sure really where they want to end up. And I want to assure you that there is a lot of different directions that you can go to depending on your passions. The main 4 themes in terms of where people end up after our program. Many come in and they want to have some sort of like outdoor recreation leadership kinds of experience. Some end up becoming recreation therapists, and they spend their careers using the outdoors as a mechanism for healing and wellness. And so recreation therapy is one avenue that you can go down. Working within municipal parks and recreation services, like almost every city in Canada has a parks and recreation department, and they're always looking for employees in various kinds of positions. Initially as recreation leaders, later as more senior positions as managers in those kinds of facilities and departments. Some of you may already work at summer camp, or you may have gone through a summer camp program. Our graduates are often counselors, camp counselors, and work their way through summer camp kinds of programs to become camp directors and have some of those more permanent full-time positions with administrating those kinds of experiences. A lot of our students are quite drawn to the concurrent education program that we are able to pair our degree with. And so a lot end up becoming teachers in the conventional school system in elementary schools or high schools. And they really apply a lot of those experiential education practices that we employ in our program in their own classrooms. There's a good number of students who end up working as educators in other ways too. So there are alternative education programs like forest schools, Waldorf schools, Montessori schools, and our students tend to find positions with those forms of education. Some of you may be familiar with outdoor education centers. Our local one is almost staffed entirely by graduates from our program, so we're quite proud of that. And those are people who absolutely love their jobs. In the park system, a lot of our graduates end up working within Ontario Parks, Parks Canada, conservation areas, and they have various roles such as heritage interpreters, so the educational kind of experiences that you would have at a park. Some have more of the conservation role, so if you're interested in conservation, I'd recommend considering the double degree with natural science, because those really bring in 2 really strong aspects of that kind of work. So conservation work is a big one. And then in the tourism sector, there's a lot of students who have actually started their own businesses as adventure tourism operators. Many do work as wilderness guides, for example. Entrepreneurship is something that we encourage, and you can take some courses alongside of our program in business that will help you with entrepreneurship. So if you wanted to start your own business, you can do so as well. So those are the general areas that our program graduates end up in. And but there's so many more. We have a lot of employers coming to us seeking students with the skills that our program develops. So finding jobs, and as Chloe said, that they have the Outdoor Recreation Student Society has a career fair. We have a lot of employers really asking to have an opportunity to connect with our students, because our students have not only the technical outdoor skills that they're seeking, but also our program is known really for strong interpersonal skills, which really are quite valued by employers. So if this was convincing to you and you're interested in applying into our program, if you haven't already done so, probably the easiest way to apply to our program is by using the code AAI. So I know that the Ontario University Application Centre can be a little bit tricky to navigate. You can find us by entering Lakehead University into the university, or by finding us by geographical area. But it's quicker if you're able to remember this. AAI, and it's not a 1, AAI is a program code, and that'll bring you directly to our program in order to apply. We also encourage you to stay in touch. So there's a few things on this page. That QR code will bring you to Lakehead University's future events. So we have a lot of webinars like this. This one was program specific, but you can also take part in or watch recordings of webinars around residence life or how financial aid works. So that's really useful if you wanted to scan that QR code there. You can also follow Lakehead University in general on your social medias and using the handle MyLakehead. We encourage you also to follow our own social media accounts. So if you type in Lakehead ORPT, that will bring you to our own social media accounts that Chloe does a lot of the posting for. And it gives you a sense of what we're doing behind the scenes and what our classrooms look like, what our classroom activities, our student projects are all about. So that's a great way to sort of keep in touch and see what the program's all about on a regular basis. And now we'll have an opportunity for some questions.
So we had one come up in the Q&A that Graydon asked. So the question, for those of you that can't see it, is this: can you talk more about elective type things you mentioned in the first year, like rock climbing and skiing? Is that a part of a course or on its own? If I expand that and take first year out, my answer would be both. So in first year, you get to do a lot of rock climbing is included as I think it's not always compulsory. Sometimes it's offered as an optional opportunity in outdoor skills in theory 1. So when I say it's optional, it means it's not one of the like required skills that you need to do, but it's offered as an opportunity. And we frequently do that in our courses where we might have 2 or 3 skills that you know are required for evaluation, that you go out and you learn. You don't have to be an expert when you're done. Your grade isn't tied to that. And then we'll say, and here's a couple of other things that you can try if you're interested. So we do have courses where you try a variety of skills, and then we also will have courses where you can focus in on a particular skill. Those are most often run as we would call them directed studies. And there'll be a small group of students and a faculty member or staff member will lead those courses for you to like hone in on a skill. So for example, we're offering a course this spring in spring whitewater paddling. So I hope that answers your question, Graydon. If it doesn't, you can ask it again, or you can tell me that you meant something different, and happy to answer that. Hayden, your question is, are you able to participate in an exchange even if you're in the concurrent education joint degree? And the answer is yes. So you do a 4-year honors Bachelor of Outdoor Rec. And when you're done the 4-year, then you do your 2-year Bachelor of Education program. And so while you're taking your undergrad, you take some courses in education. However, it's very much compatible with an exchange opportunity. You can still do your exchange in 3rd year, just like everyone else. So it doesn't impact your ability to do that. Then move on to Anna's question. What schools are you connected to in the US? I'm gonna volley that one over to Julie right after I answer Ian's question. Ian's question about how many students are in the program each year. Typically, we have between 25 and 30 students in a cohort. So the cohorts are nice, a really nice size, so that you get a kind of diverse group of learners, but not so big that you kind of get lost or feel overwhelmed. Julie said most Lakehead courses are under 50. Our courses are typically under 35 and many of them under 25. But Anna, we're going to answer your first question about connections in the US, and then we'll go to your, I love these questions. I'm so excited. Hey, Julie.
All right. So, Anna, I can't see your questions and I'm not able to see the follow-up question. So I hope I'm taking I'm interpreting your question appropriately. So I'm guessing you're asking about outbound exchanges to the US. And so there are a number of institutions that are connected to the North to North program where we do have a sort of umbrella relationship. There's a number in Alaska. I don't know the institutions straight off, but I know that there's at least 2, possibly 3 in Alaska. There are others I believe in Washington State, maybe Oregon as well. And if there are specific institutions or specific areas in the US you want to go to, we have an international office who's super supportive in terms of trying to connect students with the locations and the subjects that they're interested in. I'm just going to add to that a little bit, because when I first heard your question asked, what connections do we have with American universities? We do have a really great connection with the University of Minnesota Duluth, which in Duluth, Minnesota is actually only 3.5 hours away from here. So Duluth is our closest city. And so we do have a really great relationship with their outdoor and environmental education program. We work to have our students travel together to the Association for Experiential Education conference last year. We hosted their students to come up in 2 busloads worth of students coming up to meet with our students in a student-planned conference. So that was a real highlight, and we really value connecting with other institutions outside of our own.
So the other question from Anna is related to the certification. So it says, Chloe mentioned some certifications. Does the ORPT degree lead to any other specific certifications? And does the program provide transportation to some of the excursions that are further away? So I'm going to start with the second part of your question, which is yes, any excursion that you are going on in our program, particularly at first and second year, we provide busing to those opportunities. In third and fourth year, we find that students are a little bit more established in the community, and many have vehicles, and in some cases we will organize carpools. However, we tend to orient towards buses and van rentals for those longer excursions for safety purposes. Sometimes there'll be something within the city limits that's a 10-minute drive and students would rather drive themselves. And so we try to respond to the student needs, but we do not require that you have your own means of transportation for excursions. We also have a truck, and so if that were to happen, a carpool situation, then we would also drive the ORPT truck. So some of the certifications that we do offer as part of the program, and some of these will be included in your classes at no charge, and some of them are offered as like an optional extracurricular where you pay what you would pay if you were going to do the certification organized by a different organization. And some of those are, we do an ice rescue course. We offer on some of those expedition courses, or in earlier courses as well, we offer Paddle Canada certifications. We offer whitewater rescue. The Student Society ORSIS organizes the Wilderness First Aid and Wilderness First Responder. That is one that is an additional cost. It's a quite intensive Wilderness First Aid course. And we offer interpretation as well, the Heritage Interpretation Certification within courses. Sometimes our staff and faculty are trained to be the trainers, in which case we can offer them for an extremely low cost or free. When we have to bring in an outside organization, it will cost more. We do have a requirement that by your second semester of second year, you've completed your standard first aid. So some of you might have that already. It has to be up to date. Just so when you start to go on some longer trips, we want to make sure that you have that. So I hope that that helps. We also, as a staff team, took a 6-hour mental health wilderness first aid course this fall for professional development. And we were able to take that for a fairly reasonable cost to the department. So I'm looking into how we can do that, extend that to students actually. So I'm going now to Hayden. Also, if I'm an intermediate senior concurrent education, it is listed that your teachable would be environmental science. What high school courses would you be able to teach with that teachable? So technically, the way that students, that's a great, Hayden, good question. So the way that gets interpreted is really that you are qualified to teach any science class. At least that's what we hear locally. Most typically, that's any of the environmental science course codes. There's a grade 11 open environmental science, I think. But our students are getting jobs as science teachers, biology, chemistry, grade 9 science. It's been a while since I was a high school teacher. I can't remember the curriculum. And then typically the second teachable is a social science, general social science teachable. So you can do other teachables as well. You would just want to consult with your academic advisor to make sure that you take the right courses. So for example, one teachable that you can have as a second teachable, which means you take fewer courses, is kinesiology. And that's something because that would be the phys ed teachable. So that's a popular option with our students as well. Man, I hope you all come. You have great questions. And then how many people complete from Ian? How many people, this is a hard one, complete the program from the starting year? So I think what you mean, Ian, is what is our retention rate? So that's a hard question to answer because it really varies. In general, we have quite a high retention rate. So we are not a program that, we're like, we're trying to weed you out in the first year. That's not what we're interested in. We're really interested in practicing what we preach, if you will, which is cultivating good relationships, having a good community, supportive group dynamic so that you can really flourish. We want people to come and stay. The most recent National Student Satisfaction Survey said, what did they say about our satisfaction rates, Julie? We were like at 97% or something,
Well,
student satisfaction.
Yeah, our retention rate between first and second year tends to be above 95, so
Yeah.
around 97. So we have a lot of students who stay with us between first and second year. And our student satisfaction surveys, like we had like 100% on some of the indicators, like if I could start my program over, I would select the same institution. Those kinds of parameters indicate to us a really strong sense of satisfaction with the program. The reason that Lee says it's difficult for us to have statistics is because sometimes the numbers don't tell the whole story. We support students in taking the time they need. So if students want to like take a semester off to do something else that's part of their professional development, or if they want to slow down the progress, so instead of completing in 4 years, they want to work a part-time job in the winter and therefore they take a shorter course load. That might extend their graduation through to 4.5 years, and we would help you with your course planning. So we do have a lot of students who do start and complete, but the statistics kind of look how many do that in that 4-year period. And I don't think that really is a strong indicator of retention because we actually encourage people to take the time and to modify their program as their own lifestyle and their learning needs require. Sometimes students, they can't determine which of the program options they want. They're not sure if they want to do concurrent education or if they want to do a double degree with history or geography or something like that. I just want to let you know that it is possible to switch within our program, so that if you wanted to start off with, with education, but then you think, oh no, I don't know if I really want to be a teacher. I'm really interested in learning more about geography or natural science. You can switch your program within our program options relatively easy within the first year or two. It becomes a little bit more difficult after third or fourth year, but we do assign you an academic advisor within our faculty who we spend a lot of time trying to get to know you as your instructors, and so as your advisors we will have some insights and you can let us know what your own interests are, your own career desires are, and we can help you make some decisions about what courses to take, whether or not to stay in your major, or what the implications might be for your progress through our program if you do decide to change.
Any other questions, folks? Oh, Ian's saying thank you. Thank you, Ian. Feel free, I'll speak for myself, but I'm sure I'm speaking for everyone here. Feel free to reach out to any of us anytime. If you go to our website, you'll be able to find us, or you message someone through social media. We can respond. And if you're in Thunder Bay, come on to campus for a visit or a tour. And if you're not, you're welcome to do that too. We really do love what we do, and we love working with the people we work with. So and I include students in that. So please let us know if we can help you in any way.
And any messages you send us through Instagram, for example, we do receive and we can reply to you. All right, well, let's maybe wrap it up at that. And if anybody does want to stay on, we'll stay on a little bit longer, but folks who have joined us, we really appreciate the hour that you spent with us. We hope that we've been able to answer your questions, and we really look forward to receiving an application from you and can't wait to meet you, hopefully this September or perhaps next September. Take care, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thanks, everybody.